Okay, so today we finally continue this main series. So this is the part of the Xbox Game Pass Gauntlet where I go through every single game in order. What's funny about that is when I started it, right? Okay, so Plague Tale Innocence was, let me recap like all the ones I did. So this is like episode 8 of it. The episode 1 was what game? 7 Days to Die, which it only took me 1 day to die, haha. Then A Memoir Blue, which was like some story game, which you couldn't really even seem to die in that, but it's the first playthrough permadeath for each of these. So if it's something I've already played, I guess I might have to make an exception or do something else with it, but so far it's been first playthroughs. But what's interesting is how often does it happen that one of the games that you're playing gets taken off the service as you're doing it? Like a Plague Tale Innocence was the next one, and then this one. So Plague Tale I did for like what? Episodes 3 and 4 and 3 and 4. And so this one was 5, 6, 7, and now 8. So 4 episodes to get through the first fucking case, but that's fine. I take my time. And so we have seen some possibility of a failure state with the little Somnium mechanic. Out in the field, though, we haven't seen anything like that where you just talk to people. Doesn't really seem like you can fuck things up there. But with regard to the Game Pass thing, it's like, as I was playing a Plague Tale, it was just about to come off the service. And so in a certain sense, it's almost fortunate that I died, because if I didn't die then and kept going with the playthrough, I would have had to buy it. Because, you know what I mean, like it's you can't play it on there anymore. And the same thing with this, but this I actually did just have to buy today, which is kind of surprising, for $40 fucking dollars. Not the sort of game necessarily that I would normally play, although I do like detective games, and it's not bad. It's just like kind of weird. I don't know, it seems like one of those obscure niche things that's, and this protagonist is really pervy, which is at least a little bit different than Phoenix Wright, with the sense that they sort of imply stuff like that with all the little girls following you around, but they don't actually have him be that way. This guy's kind of perving on the women in bathing suits on the TV and on the receptionist and stuff. But then it's weird because whenever somebody is flirtatious towards him, he kind of brushes it off. So it's like in his own mind, he doesn't mind being pervy, but he doesn't like it being acknowledged by other people, like his boss or something. I'm definitely the biggest fan of his boss, if it does let you go down the route of doing a romantic interest. But yeah, so we failed 7 Days to Die, whatever extent, you know, you wanted to actually beat the game without dying. I don't know how that would work, because that's like a semi-multiplayer game or something. I don't know what the victory state would be in that. A Memoir Blue, I guess we beat, and then a Plague Tale Innocence I failed pretty early on as well. Like right after the tutorial, when you're starting to get out there on your own, we got in like some unfavorable position where I hid behind a bush that wasn't like one of the bushes that the game wants you to hide behind, because it's got kind of like a stealth system. So technically, in a real world sense, I was hiding behind a bush the same way the game wants you to. It just wasn't one of the developer approved bushes that actually counts. So it's like theatricality and deception or powerful agents moment where like he just looks right at you one of the nights and he just kills you. I was almost speculating they won't let you die, because that'd be kind of brutal to just see you and your little kid brother get killed like that, but they didn't give a shit. He just stabbed us through, and fucking, it's like an Ellie moment from The Last of Us where she just gets torn apart by a clicker or something. It's like, they don't give a shit, dude. It's not a game for kids, obviously, but I just didn't imagine that happening in my head. Not just because I'm so good and I'm gonna avoid it from happening. So yeah, those are the ones we've done so far. So this is the first one that I've actually had to buy because it got taken off the service as soon as I was playing it. Of course, it's my fault maybe for taking so long, but it's not like I would have beaten the game just like that. But at least if I was gonna fail, I wish I would have failed before that happened, because now I spent $40, so now real money is on the line for my failure. And you know how well we do when that's the case, like chess.com premium account deleted in April because I failed that permadeath challenge. See, it makes everything so much more fun and immersive and exciting when everything is permadeath. Make it like real life. So yeah, the failure states so far have been, we could have failed in the context of these Somnium things, like in our own Somnium dream, although that was the tutorial one, or we could fail in Mizuki's Somnium. So it seems like that's the only way. You get like 3 retries, which for me is acceptable. But then if you go beyond 3, you actually fail. You can't restart the whole thing. You just get like the 3 strikes, 3 penalties. So, basically the reason why I took a little break from doing the main series, and Plants vs Zombies is in a pretty significant spot too, because we were about to beat it. We were about to get back to the roof, so I'll do that tomorrow. But the reason why is because I had this impulse to do my little Hearthstone thing, so I just did like a push to legend. And it's not even that that proves anything or means anything, but I just, you know, felt like doing it. So that was like a one-time meta game, one-off thing that I often don't do. But I guess it's good in a way because it's not about proving that I could do it in Hearthstone specifically, although people were talking shit for some reason as if it matters. But on a bigger picture, it shows that like I can take a break at any time from my main series and just do something meta. Like, okay, Overwatch 2 is about to come out, so if I want to be like the best Overwatch 2 player and get to like the top rank there, I theoretically could just commit all my time on stream, because that's the only time I play stuff, to just doing that, and theoretically I could do it. Not that that's even my type of game or whatever, but that's kind of what it shows. Like, oh, the new WoW expansion comes out and I for some reason feel like playing it for the first time in over 10 years and doing some kind of, I'll become a gladiator fucking arena player. It does make me feel like the good old days where I could sit there and do that, even as repetitive as it can be, to do stuff like that. At least it shows you, okay, there's an example of me actually doing something meta, because people always say I can't do stuff like that anymore, even though I've obviously done it in the past countless times, whatever. I just don't care as much anymore. So I could do a series like that with chess, where I fucking get to 2,000 rating and make it like a whole big thing, but I kind of like it more in the background as just like a casual secondary fun thing. So let me actually review, what did I do last time? Last time we basically went to the diner, or was that the time before? No, okay, let me review. Okay, so we've done what, 3 episodes total. So the first one, we ended up at the first episode, we went to the crime scene that fateful Friday night in the rain, right at the carousel. We found the body of the victim. There's a lot of personal conflict of interest here. We were like friends with the victim, Shoko Nadami. We're also friends with Renju, who's going to be like the prime suspect, I think, now going forward. We're also the guardian of a witness slash suspect in Mizuki, and we're also somehow affiliated with Iris, who was like a witness. Iris, we had like some kind of flashback with her birthday cake, so that's something that happened before the 7-year period that we lost our memory. So we start off at the carousel, we look at the crime scene, we go home, we go to bed, and then our AI, Aiba, kind of does this whole thing in our dream that kind of introduces us to the Somnium mechanic. We do like a Somnium on ourselves. So that's where I kind of question, like, how is this going to work on other people? It's one thing if, you know, we have permission in our own mind, obviously we can fuck with our own head, but somehow we, like, how are you going to get Renju into that seat? And I also like it as like a technological handicap. Like, we can't just solve these cases normally. Like, how would we solve this in the good old days before we had access to Somnium, right? We're using it on a little 12-year-old girl who's traumatized. Like, is this really, when you have a hammer, everything looks like a nail? Like, you use it on everybody with any excuse, not just when it really feels necessary. So like, imagine catching Renju without using it. Are we actually gonna have to use it on him is the question. Maybe we won't get to, because like, how would you justify, you know, putting him on this chair? Would you have to drug him or handcuff him or something? That's kind of like an abuse of, even that one seemed kind of like an abuse, doing it to Mizuki. She didn't give us her permission. She just kind of sat there in a, you know, sort of almost like a coma state, but she was still, it was some kind of condition, I forget, like where she couldn't speak because she's so much in shock. So it seems like the perfect time to bypass her consent. But that is a gray area thing, and so I wonder how that's going to work with the culprits of the cases, though, right? It doesn't really fit to have them come here. And I also don't like how that mechanic works, because it's like, you don't really deal with the facts of the case as much, you deal more like with just random shit. Let's kick this panda bear, or let's throw this, like, you're doing kind of weird arbitrary stuff that has nothing to do with your knowledge of the case. So whether you fail or not doesn't have to do with your own understanding of what's going on. It's just like random stuff, I swear. Like, blow a balloon and that causes the thing to open up, and it's like weird. It's almost like McPixel logic, right? Like, kick the panda in the side and it causes the carousel to go up 100 miles, and then you have to blow a balloon and it'll take you there, and all this weird stuff. So hopefully those will become more intrinsic to the case, or at least hopefully there'll be some mechanic outside of those where you get to have like a sense of sort of failure state or meaning, where you interact, like you interrogate Renju out in the field and you kind of have to make meaningful choices that could actually hurt you. So far the dialogue options have been relatively just for extra flavor. They haven't really meant anything, which is very much like Phoenix Wright, but at least that has like a courtroom mechanic where you have to cross-examine and present evidence and stuff. We have so much evidence and information in our journal, but we don't have any reason to ever use it, right? There's not been a single time where we've been called upon as the player. That's why I kind of do it like my own way in these games too. Like, I'll try to be ahead of the character or ahead of the theory and kind of say like, oh, this is what they're gonna say. And then whether I'm right or not, it's like, at least I get to put my input, because a lot of games don't give you the chance to do that. It'll just, the characters will just spell stuff out for you. Kathy Rain, looking at her doing that with the fucking, even when I do try, she just completely humbles me, right? Destroy my ego as a detective, because she was just so much better than me. So this is what's interesting about the Gauntlet format, is it can take the slot of either the story game or the hard mode, depending. So I mean, obviously everything is a hard mode for me in the sense that I do the permadeath, but this is technically my story game slot after Kathy Rain. So we have Plants vs Zombies on the other side as the hard mode. Yeah, that was the first episode. We did our Somnium, and then on ourselves we went to the boss's office, and we ended off there looking at all her cool whatever decorations and stuff that she has, like the band, that she's a fan of boy bands, and she has like some, I don't know, like a mannequin of somebody that she flirts with in lieu of us. And then apparently she's 42, which I definitely don't see that. I was thinking she'd be like, in fact, I think my first comment about her is she looks way too young to be our boss. If we're like in our 20s, she should be like, she's only like 30, like the Mia Fey effect. So are they going to kill her off, I wonder? Probably not, but I mean, they already killed off one of our friends, and I don't know how that legal guardianship thing came about to be. We're friends with Shoko, so we're guardians of her daughter, and Renju, the father, doesn't seem to give a shit about the daughter, or what? Like, how did a random friend take custody if they got divorced and had a custody battle? Like, it doesn't go to the mother, it doesn't go to the father, it goes to some random dude who the mother knows. I don't get it. So yeah, that was the first episode. Basically just 3 areas: the crime scene, the Somnium in our head, and the office. So we didn't actually get to see what our place looks like. We just went to bed, quote unquote, and we woke up in the Somnium. So that's kind of weird. Like, where does this guy actually live? And these games have a lot of that, where they tease you with the driving scenes, right? Like Kathy Rain, she's always riding the motorcycle, but you don't actually get to control it. It's just like a fast travel screen. And then the same thing here, like you get the little pre-trial review moments that you can do in the car, where you just kind of see Date driving and you can kind of interact with stuff in the car, but you can just look around. Literally with Aiba too. A lot of puns and kind of bad jokes in this game, where it almost seems like it's trying too hard, or it could be like one of those lost in translation things where it just doesn't work as well in English as in Japanese. But that's kind of like an apologist way to. So when did I last play this? 9/21. So now it's October. Yeah, I guess it hasn't been that long, but that Hearthstone trip was pretty much a lot. So yeah, that was the first day. The second day, we went ahead and we did, it was still, okay, so that was Friday, then there was Saturday. So episodes 2 and 3 just took 2 episodes to do Saturday, because it was such a long day of investigation, or at least I take my time, as I always do in these games. Like, a walking simulator becomes a standing simulator in fucking Edith Finch. So, second episode, we go to the diner, we talk to Oda's mother, we go to Renju's company, the studio, office, whatever. We meet Oda, we meet Iris. Then Iris blackmails us, we go to the crime scene again. So we have a car scene there. We have a car scene with Iris, go to the crime scene, drop her home. We have another car scene on the way home. Then once we drop her home, we have a chat with the mother, which is the same woman we see in the Somnium, our own Somnium, of her being dead, and now the mother is missing, so that might come into play. She might be another victim. I think I theorized that at the end of the last episode. Is it really 6 hours that I played? Holy fuck. And I just saw that on the right. 6 hours to get through not even the first case, day 3. I don't know if it'll follow that format of Phoenix Wright, that like it has to be a 3-day trial. Not that it's a trial, probably not. So yeah, we go to Ota's mother office, and then crime scene again. Then we talk to the mother, and I think I ended off there, Iris's mother. So then what did I do last time exactly? I'm having a little trouble remembering. We went from there to maybe the crime scene yet again. We find something inside of the horse, maybe like a phone. And then we also do the Somnium with Mizuki. We look inside of our base, and they kind of... This was the first real Somnium. I actually can't remember entirely what I did. I just remember those two things. It'll show us a little thing. That was in the Somnium, Mizuki, without consent. Us driving in our car again. And then we see Iris again. Oh yeah, he was like sniffing her shoes and stuff. And like he got her to say some innuendo like... How would I even see like the chain of events? I think you can see it in the flowchart maybe. But that one day was super fucking long compared to the rest of these. Like this was pretty short. You just look at the body and stuff. But this one was insane, right? This lasts from like all the way... Or no, that was just the Somnium. I think it was this one. Saturday lasted from the time that you talked to the boss in the office all the way through the diner, all the way through the going to Ota's office or Iris's where she works, and then going to the crime scene, and then going to drop her off, and then I think doing something else still. That was a super long portion. This is what we did. We did the sink in the pain, but we did something before that, didn't I? Undiscovered. The chapter has not been reached. Find another route in the previous Somnium. Oh, so maybe it can be like a branching path. But that means that it would be like replay value. I wouldn't be able to do that necessarily. I'm just trying to remember what all I did on Saturday. So of course that Saturday was long, but this is still the same day between all three of these. We went to meet her because we're worried about her. I forget why we're... Oh, because we saw her dead in the Somnium. And also we've seen the mother dead, so I'm presuming that the mother is dead first. But we saw that in our first Somnium. And she's gone missing or whatever. Day 3. This would be Sunday, which is actually Sunday for real. In real life, RPing. But yeah, what else did we do? I'm really trying to remember. We start off, I think, in the car. We go to the crime scene again. We find the thing in the... We find the phone in the... Or no, maybe we found the phone because of the Somnium. As if we couldn't have found that in the first place. We used like our X-ray vision for only like the second time ever. The first time was to see Mizuki inside of the center column there. They're not being too harsh with like trying to accuse her of doing it, even though she was holding the ice pick in her hand. We start off, let's say, in the car. We maybe look at the crime scene. Man, it doesn't tell you exactly what you did step by step unless you go into here, I guess, and replay it. What is case? Oh, maybe I didn't actually read all of these as I went. Case file. A cold... Okay, I read that, though. I'm not going to read that again. Location, apartment, wake Date up is the goal. Nice. Date's dream world. In the strange and surreal dream, trust the light to wake up Date. In the longest day of investigation ever, you go to like a million places. Oh, maybe it will recap everything I did, though. The day after Shoko's corpse was discovered, Date visited Abyss HQ to exchange information with Boss. Aiba claimed to know who reported the body, which was Oda. His name was Oda Matsushita. Date arrived at the lobby of the entertainment agency Lemniscate, which Renju owns, I think. Or at least he's a manager of it. To look for him, he met the idol Iris Sagan and agreed to allow her to accompany him on the investigation after getting blackmailed with some stupid video. Going back to Bloom Park with her, Date found more clues. Date took Iris home and met her mother, Hitomi Sagan. All Date could do was stare. She looked exactly like the woman from his dream, still muddled from the experience. Yeah, that was like social awkwardness on steroids. Still muddled from the experience, returned to Abyss HQ to check on Mizuki, the girl from the merry-go-round, and also his legal guardian, Chip. Basically, like almost his daughter in a way. Subject Mizuki Okiura. Location merry-go-round. Goal is to heal Mizuki's heart. Summary: Mizuki is mute. By healing her mental wounds, you may be able to get important info, which apparently I even failed to do and completely perfectly, I guess, but it was good enough to progress. In Mizuki Somnium, Date discovered... So did we really just start with doing the Somnium? I don't feel like I did, but... You drive there, you do that. In Mizuki Somnium, Date discovered Iris's corpse. Worried, Date called Iris and told her not to leave the house. You then investigated the ringtone Mizuki heard, so you went to the scene and visited... Okay, so you did it after the Somnium. Again, this is the sort of thing you should think as a detective. You shouldn't need to go into a traumatized 12-year-old girl's dream to discover that there's a cell phone there. You should just find it in the first place. You should x-ray the whole thing. You should have the x-ray thing on all the time, right? Wouldn't that solve the trouble? It's like that, I always bring up the O.J. Simpson, Mark Furman thing. It's not that, oh, we were looking for a gun. It's that you were looking for anything there. And so if a gun happened to be among the items that you found, so be it. But it's like, or like a weapon, whatever, the murder weapon. It's like the same thing here. It's not about were you looking for the phone? It's about you should be looking for evidence, period. So if you happen to find a phone there in an x-ray, in the horse, whatever, so be it. So I don't like this sort of ex post facto investigation. Like, oh, we need to know that there's a phone there to look for it. Just look for everything all the time. Used x-ray vision to discover a smartphone. The owner was unknown, but there was one call in his history. Called the number. This was kind of like a comic relief moment. They hung up. Still bothered by what he saw, headed to the Sagan residence. When the door opened, Iris greeted him. As she drove away, Iris's words lingered in her head. Sometime real soon, I'm going to die. But she said that as like a joke. Not like a real premonition. But I think the mother might already be dead. So really all we did was go to the Somnium, do the Somnium, and then go to her house. It feels like there was some other scene in there that I'm not accounting for. It's kind of bothering me, but whatever. That's all we did, huh? I mean, I guess the Somnium is kind of a major event. Well, there was like a scene before and after the Somnium too. Like in the lab, we talked to everybody, we start it, we talk to everybody again, and then we go in the car and do some stuff with Aiba. I have no idea what we're actually going to be doing here. Reopen? I haven't even started it though, have I? Ongoing. Not that. Oh no, I don't have to do that though. I'm already in the office. That's why it lets you so there was an alternate path I could have opened up, which is interesting at least. Let's go over some of this stuff. Apparently there's nothing new in here though. Computer is the guy who made Aiba, and he's responsible for the Abyss thing too. So there's like 6 members apparently of the group, of which we are 1, or maybe there's 7, and then 6 others, I forget. So we've met everybody here except for Renju, which obviously means he must have done it. Like how can there be this few profiles though for the whole game? This must just be for the first case, or that's what I said in Aviary Attorney too. Like it shows you all the profile slots for the whole game, but even at the beginning. I wonder. Or maybe the whole game is just taking down Renju, so maybe I don't feel as bad for taking this long on one case. But no, what's going to happen is it's going to open up the can of worms, like with the case from 6 years ago that apparently Date doesn't remember. Even though that seems to be after or that could be the cause of him losing his memory. And our boss kind of Freudian slipped it out to us that it's like a copycat of that, involving the carousel and the horses and stuff. But then he wouldn't tell us anymore. He even threatened sexual harassment charges. There's so much mundane shit in here that's like one line. The sinker is the agent that performs the sink. How about that? It's like even mocking you for trying to read all the flavor text, but they took the time to put it in here. Although evidently not very much time. yeah, we learned about the whole Somnium thing. I don't think we'll get another Somnium today. You can basically treat that as like the equivalent of court in Phoenix Wright, right? Like you'll do a day of investigation, then you'll go to court, then you'll do another day of investigation, then you'll do another Somnium, kind of like that. Advanced Brain Investigation Squad. I don't think I really processed that that's what it means. They haven't really said it too much. So we saw that. Yeah, that was our date A. We went on a date and she drank some wine and bitched about how abusive we are towards her in the workplace context. I like how it shows you images of Aiba doing things that she doesn't actually do. She didn't sit on the couch like that. She stood up and drank the wine, and she was all pissed about it, or like she wasn't as calm as she looks there. She never rode on the fucking horse, dude. Maybe that was an option you could have done, but like we were just walking around the whole time. So it just invents things that didn't actually happen even in the dream itself. Mizuki, who still hasn't said a word from the beginning, like from when she was in the hospital. So kind of disturbing that the first we hear of her or see her is just to do the Somnium on her. Is it going to make me read all this shit again for flavor? Because I'm tempted to, but I wonder if it'll say different things. The entrance. Some of this, again, banal flavor text is not appreciated. Cold air is blowing from the AC. I'm not sure if I saw this before, though.
How many times do I have to tell you to stop ogling me?
I mean, I would be doing it right back if...
I am not ogling you.
I would like it if she was, dude. What's the problem? Just because she's your boss? You can be your boss in more than just the workplace. Shelves, yeah, fucking improve the goddamn flavor text. Bags hanging on a rack. Inside the bags are masks, like for costume party. So he doesn't like his boss, even though he should. I mean, yeah, and she's threatening him with sexual harassment charges when it should go the other way. A tombstone, rip.
That means rest in peace, as in sleep peacefully.
Who's it for?
Ma from the host club.
Why do you need to tell us that? Like, are we that stupid?
RIP specifically refers to the Latin phrase requiescat in pace.
Okay, that I didn't know.
Boss is correct about the general meaning.
Wait, Ma's like her mother's? Oh, Ma from the host club. I don't know who that is. Oh, there was some other chick that he showed interest in, though. I forget what her name is. It might be in the log, and we haven't seen her yet. I can't remember her name. It's like from some aerobics class or something that he goes to. It should be in here because she's been mentioned. But then again, we wouldn't have a picture of her. Or no, it's in his thing. Likes Reika from some class. He was telling Aiba to like imitate her appearance or something, because she can turn into anybody like that you want, but it would distract you too much from work, I bet. So I wonder if there really is going to be different dialogue in here every time. A flag with big catch on it.
You know, whether it's catching fish or catching criminals.
So she has like a deeper manipulative side. Like she seems all nice and nonchalant all the time, but she knows how to get at people and get them to do shit that she wants. We saw an example of that last time, but now I forgot what it was. She pulled some strings to get Mizuki out of the hospital, I think. She like blackmailed the person there because she knows maybe stuff about them. I wish I could remember what she said exactly, but like, oh, I'll tell everybody about the, or how did that incident with the something go? Oh, he talks? I didn't know that. Boss's childhood friend Mario. Yeah, this is different flavor text at least, though. He used to be into RC cars as well, apparently.
Looking at that reminds me of my old boyfriend from high school.
You said that about the soccer ball yesterday.
Oh, that just reminded me of his balls. Because of the size, you know?
That sounds like a serious medical condition.
Some of this dialogue is just like they're trying too hard to be funny. Yeah, really, you could get, if you were Date and you wanted to, you could get fucking sexual harassment charges against your boss. The amount of innuendo that she does, not that I mind it. The way she sits on her desk and she keeps...
Wasn't that
Damn.
party a while back? How long have you had that up?
Every day is like my birthday. Every day, I'm reborn as a new woman.
You change every day. Then it makes you read it twice. Like, it stays green even after the fact. She likes to keep up like decorations all year round, whether it be Halloween or fucking like the Christmas tree. Bookshelf full of files and binders, but I don't know of what. Even though you've worked here like 7+ years, 6+ years, even though you lost your memory from 6 years ago plus, you would still know the rest of it, but you don't even know her fucking name. Wait, let's not do that yet though. There's a computer on her desk, the type that has a monitor built in. Electronic darts game. Boss's
Hey,
chair.
boss. Why are you always sitting on top of the desk?
Don't complain, I like
Because
it.
I like to be on top of my work.
Oh, good one.
You sit that way on the off chance you get the opportunity to use a pun?
I can think of other reasons she might be doing it, especially if she's ogling you. She wants you to ogle her back. Public bath door curtain. A map on the wall. The mysterious
If you put
mask.
that mask on, spikes come out that drink your blood.
That sounds familiar.
Something out of Goosebumps where the fucking they had like 2 or 3 episodes like that. That's the only episode I remember from the series, in fact, is the one where the girl puts on the mask. Apparently it's the first episode, I think I just discovered, but then they had another one. It was such a popular subject, just like you put on a mask and it makes you like turn into a real monster. There's a pennant adorning the wall. Who's better, R.L. Stein or fucking Stephen King? Fucking a police poster, snowboard. He's definitely
I
the
picked up snowboarding recently.
athletic type, not unlike Aoi, who wears the same red color too. It almost seems like she's the adult version of Aoi
Oh? Why?
from Danganronpa.
This really hot guy from Kabukicho invited me, so...
He keeps letting stuff like that slip. Of like, oh, all these guys I'm with, I bet you wish you weren't working for me, so you could do the same. A symbol, but what does it represent? A stationary
That thing's
bike.
broken. Pedal and pedal, but the damn thing won't move.
That's a pretty good joke, actually. She's actually awesome. Stationary bike for indoor training. This guy has like no, he can't detect sarcasm and stuff or anything.
Why do you
It's
have
a-
that here?
We're 6 floors underground, right? What if it rains? We might get flooded.
I don't think a floaty would save us in that predicament.
6 floors underground. I guess we didn't know that little tidbit. Decorated Christmas tree that's been there since the first time I was in this room, which was 6 years ago. You might even question me as a player. Like, weren't you just in here the other day and didn't you look at all this shit before? But if they're going to say different stuff, but this is Date taking it to an extreme. You've seen this stuff every day or every once in a while for 6 years, but you still want to sit here and look at it and talk about it. There's a lot of stuff hanging on the coat hanger. Not really, just fucking umbrellas. Oh, we can't look at the umbrella itself? Kathy Rain reference, even though she didn't actually use an umbrella from what I remember in like the whole story.
That's my boyfriend from about 10 years back. We had a bad breakup, so I sliced his head off and coated it in plaster.
Okay. I know she's joking about that. I also know what Boss is capable of. She would have you cover it up too. Former lover, and this is apparently her current lover. Childhood friend. Oh, before they said it was like, that's like her boyfriend. Desk, Boss's desk. There's stickers all over the front. Wouldn't this be the front where you sit, and then the back? This would be the back. Huh, that's weird interpretation. But yeah, this guy is certainly no detective when it comes to detecting sarcasm from people or jokes or innuendo or anything. And he's quite the pervert. I mean, he's overtly one of the most perverted characters that we've seen in anything. But then when people are directly flirtatious with him, he kind of shies away from it, so I don't get it. At least his boss. And Iris didn't seem to know the kind of innuendo that we were trying to pull on her. The Persian rug is laid out. Broken clock, a dead clock. Okay, I think we're ready to talk to both of them. You can look at myself. Chair. Wow, there's so much shit here, though. A Matryoshka doll. I always forget how you pronounce it. It's like some kind of Rubik's Cube equivalent, right? Russian Rubik's Cube. It's a large key. Could be the key to the whole case. I like that in games like Kathy Rain did that, where they give you an item at like the beginning that just sits there and you never know what it's for, and you almost forget about it, and then it comes in clutch like later. They'll just give you some weird thing that you just hang on to, and you can show it to everybody, and they're all like, why the fuck are you asking me about this random object? Why would I know about that? Or you'll see somebody get nervous about it. I think there were some things here that I missed before. I don't know if I saw the air conditioner or not. Iba's outside my eye socket right now, but I can still see through her as if she were in my eye socket. Her body and my optic nerve are connected wirelessly. There's a handsome devil always praising himself, or would I rather be an angel? That's a tough one. I like how it just keeps going. In any case, he just, like he did this with the receptionist. She has big boobs. Big boobs, and then he kept like shortening it, boobs, then he capitalized it, or he just keeps saying the same thing over and over but slightly differently. A gorgeous man is in Iba's sight. He'll still have more to say. Oh, there we go, finally. You never know when it's gonna end, so you have to keep doing it if you're like as OCD as me. There would be no point. Let's not talk to ourselves, even though he's done that countless times before. I'll look crazy. Let's not. I don't want to talk to myself like an idiot, even though you're doing it right now in your head.
Let's play a word game.
Fuck. So it rewards you for doing all that by giving you dialogue. Go through the 3 prompts that don't give you dialogue to get the one
Bring it on.
that does.
Say white 10 times. White, 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 white. Think of your favorite cabaret girl. Now, what does a cow drink? Milk.
Cow will drink its own milk? How convenient. Anything else to report about the investigation, about the phone, about Mizuki? So basically all we learned from that was the phone. So it's kind of a dead end because we stupidly called and said, oh, we're a police officer, blah, blah, blah. Boss is sitting on the desk, yes. Okay, no extra flavor for that one.
About Renju.
Renju.
Yesterday I told you he vanished after he was questioned.
He is going to be like our prime suspect, final boss here. Nobody can find...
We found him.
So he was questioned, he left, and then he couldn't be found, and then they tracked him down again. But he wasn't a witness, was he? He was just... Because he's the ex-husband, they just wanted to talk to him about it.
Where?
Central Hospital. He was brought there from a traffic accident. He's unconscious and it's not looking good.
Oh, how convenient. That's all part of his master plan, just so he doesn't incriminate himself, I guess.
B?
Capitol Highway?
Oh, you heard about it?
Oh, we heard it like on the news, but we didn't know it was him, I guess.
We heard the report on the radio last night.
I can't believe it was about Renju.
That kind of makes him look less suspicious, but it could just be a happy accident, as they say. To kind of distract from his guilt.
Date, you should go talk to him. He is Shoko Nadami's former husband, after all.
No, even if he's in a trance or in a coma or something, we should fucking drag him to the Somnium room and force him to reveal stuff through his subconscious mind, like we did with Mizuki.
He might have some information.
You were never jealous of that, even though you were the guardian of his kid?
But he's still asleep, isn't he?
Smack him across the face and wake him up.
No, isn't it perfect if he's asleep? Because then you can go into his dreams and hack his fucking mind.
You're his friend, right? He'll understand.
Come on.
I asked HQ to look into it.
This guy's basically a grade A cuck. Like, you're in love with somebody, let's say, like Shoko, even though we don't know that he is, but like, so you're friends with the girl, you get friend zoned, and then you are friends with her husband, and then when they break up, or even if they don't break up, you just take care of their kid for them. Like,
Found a few things.
What's the deal? Oh, I accidentally used auto.
First, the owner was Shoko Nadami.
Okay, so whoever's number was on there is suspicious because... Oh yeah, and they're all using like rental phones, so they're doing something fishy.
It was Shoko's phone?
Yes.
But not her primary phone. It must be something she uses only for...
Her face was registered in the phone's facial recognition authentication.
Why did she put it in the horse at the crime scene? Or why did somebody else take it from her and then put it in the horse after maybe killing her? Is the question there. Who called about Mizuki, about the investigation? If it is only a rental phone, you wouldn't feel that threatened by it. I wonder if we found another phone on her body, like her normal phone. Otherwise, you'd be very suspicious, like, where's her phone then? Right? So we would have looked more deeply for it without needing to go into Mizuki Somnium in the first. That's the only thing we discovered from that whole experience. Was just that there was a phone there, apparently.
Who called the phone?
Sorry, we don't know that yet.
Somebody called you and then you called them back, or no, somebody had called previously.
They called from a burner phone.
Just like what this
They
is.
didn't register a name.
I can make a deduction with this information. We know that the phone belonged to Shoko.
Right.
Whoever it was made their call at 9:02 p.m. after Shoko was killed. I believe we can make an assumption here.
They knew she was dead and they were trying to create an alibi for
The
themselves.
caller probably wasn't the murderer.
Or, no, that wouldn't make sense then, because you wouldn't know it's their phone. Like the old Jody Arias, where she left a message on Travis's phone or whatever, just after she killed him, just to say, oh, how are you doing? And we're going to plan a trip.
Why would they call the phone of the person they just killed?
Give yourself an alibi, but again, the burner thing.
Maybe. But the culprit might have been trying to get Mizuki to call,
Trying to get Mizuki to call.
so that they can bring her to the scene.
But then why hide the phone? They would have left it somewhere easier to find.
True.
Huh. That is kind of weird.
But either way, our mysterious caller is suspicious. Consider this.
Like at first, Oda seems suspicious because he found the body. Mizuki seems suspicious because she had the murder weapon. What is that hand pose she's doing? I like that. He's gonna do a Jedi mind trick on me or something. Get me to stop asking about that copycat case. But, dude, she does not look 42. Hold on. Log. I love how you can replay. See, some games don't have backlogs at all, but this game takes it to the next step and even lets you listen to the voice acting again.
They would have left it somewhere easier to find.
They wanted to get Mizuki to call.
They did not register the phone under their real name.
I thought you said they didn't register it under any name.
And also, they hung up as soon as Date mentioned he was a cop.
You know about that little blunder? I thought we'd keep that to ourselves.
And on top of that,
Oh, did she always do that point? Maybe I just wasn't looking at that particular...
they blocked Date's number and turned off the phone.
The blame lies entirely with Date.
Yeah.
I suggest cutting his salary.
Guilty as charged.
Cut your battery.
Do it. I'll plug in somewhere.
Anyway, we have to identify the caller. If you don't want your salary cut.
Fine.
Any other information about Shoko's phone? Mizuki, I love how you can just keep beating the same dead horse over and over till she gets mad at you.
All the history's been erased. There's nothing on the phone itself, but we can still look up its records. I happen to have a friend at the cell company.
This is one of those games, like, despite my tendency to do that in a lot of games, though, where you can just sit in the same place for so long. Like, we could be in this office for like a fucking hour. This is like our pre-investigation review instead of pre-trial review. We should do like a pre-Somnium review. The only problem is the Somnium doesn't require you to use information from the case, so it wouldn't really help you that much, would it?
The head office is looking into it now.
It's just random stuff. Okay, finally we're done with that. Mizuki and the investigation. Well, evidently we don't care very much about Mizuki, but we'll just ask anyway.
She was returned to the hospital after the sync. She'll probably be hospitalized for a while.
So she still hasn't said a goddamn thing. If I was her, I'd be pissed at you. Like, this is what you do as my guardian? You fucking exploit me and use me for your fucking think experiments instead of just letting me get better on my own?
Strange.
What's strange about it?
Mizuki's phone is at home, Date. The GPS and Wi-Fi access point confirm this.
She went home by herself?
Possibly.
But why?
Unknown.
So she's supposed to be in the hospital, but she just went home. Maybe to run away, get her shit and run away from the abusive guardian that she has, who's a fucking dick and wants to mess with her head.
There's been no progress, as usual. The people at the main office are so incompetent. The smartphone you brought in yesterday is still our only lead. Hopefully there'll be a breakthrough.
Sitting on the desk, so now we can... Oh, we can't do anything with ourselves. Why does it even show us that way then? I guess just because we're point and click like in the first person view. So it's the kind of game where I would enjoy it more if you could move around and walk around freely and interact with stuff. But you can do that, but only in the Somnium. It's so weird. you can't do it as Date. They should have just let you do it as both. So it's half point and click and half move around. Or probably like 75% point and click, because the Somnium isn't something you do all the time. I've been sitting on the desk. Anything stand out? Mizuki about the investigation. But it is interesting that we had some kind of alternate path that we could have unlocked if we just if we did it like a different way, I guess. But we didn't fail. We got like, we used like 1 retry because you have to, because of time. I think 1 out of 3 for each one. Anything stand out? Mizuki, investigation, not the boss, because she's sitting down.
Date, you promised to go on a date with Iris yesterday.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
What exactly are you planning to do?
Kind of a weird conversation to have in front of the boss. Not the least of which is the mother's probably dead too.
What? Seriously?
It's a social date.
A man's promise is his bond. You absolutely must keep your word.
Oh wow, AI with very high standards.
Have you ever heard of a white lie?
So you're gonna act like it never happened.
That's not what I said. The day's not over yet. If I go see her and socialize for a bit, that's a date, right?
Oh, so you are not planning a real date then?
No, of course not.
If you say so.
You almost sound relieved, Iba.
Pardon?
Are you jealous?
Impossible!
Maybe you're jealous too, so we have
I
a
could never be jealous of a silly little human like her.
love triangle with an 18-year-old, a 42-year-old boss, and a fucking AI.
Uh-huh. Sure.
She's just projecting her own jealousy. About the investigation, I was sitting on the desk. That's all you got to say. Here, it doesn't make it clear whether you've seen all there is to see, because it keeps letting you do it even after.
There are many points of interest surrounding Mizuki, but we will need to speak with her directly.
Yeah, we tried
I
that.
hope she gets better soon.
Man, what if the real cause of her trauma is fucking going through the Somnium? How do you know what kind of... That is such a dirty thing that we did.
I am watching the case file of Shoko Nadami as it is updated in real time. Currently, it appears as though there has been no significant progress.
No significant progress with what? Just the case itself?
Hey Date, why not go to that bar you haven't been to in a while?
Bar.
Marble in Golden Yokocho.
Mama runs Marble. She's an informant who knows just about everything there is to know about the criminal underground. Maybe she knows something. Why would this have to do with the underground, though? Shouldn't you know everything she knows, too? Since you have access to... I guess you only have access to, like, white information, not underground stuff, but... I have 3 places to check. Central Hospital, where Renju is. I don't know if he's in any condition to talk, but it might help. You could also go home and see Mizuki, or get information at Mama and Marble.
Let's move.
I wonder if it'll punish me like Aviary Attorney if I do the wrong ones. Like, they each take up X amount of time, and you only have a total amount of time, so...
Roger that.
The order and which ones you choose to go in are going to be significant. I do like that it's letting me choose now, for the first time ever, where to go. I'm going to check on Mizuki just because I feel fucking bad. Even as cold of a detective as I can sometimes be in these games, I'm not too happy with that treatment, so... Why can't I go to the middle one? Oh, you have to go up and down on these prompts. So assume that Renju is just passed out. Now, what would piss me off is if he is actually the culprit, and by the time we get around to it, we, and I kind of want to see Date's place, because we haven't gotten to. The closest we saw was Iris's place ahead of time, that we kind of thought you could see the boss still sitting there through this. We're just staring at her, but pretending like we're not. So Marble would be what? I think we'll have a chance to talk to her anytime that we want, the mama. Is that the same person they were talking about here? Ma's tombstone. Maybe that's somebody different, because she's not dead, obviously. So yeah, we'll let Renju rest in his coma or whatever after the car accident, give him some time. Just like we didn't give to Mizuki. But yeah, that would piss me off if he's gone by the time we get there. So we'll go maybe 1, 2, 3. There's the least sense of urgency with the mama. It seems like we can just... That's just like a random thing. Like, we're desperate for info, so we hope that somebody in the underworld knows something about it. Renju, I do want to talk to pretty badly. But I want to see his place, but I also want to see how Mizuki's doing, because she might just run away after we were such a massive dick. This is the first time we'll ever get to go here. Or see it, at least.
Hitomi Sagan, Iris's mother.
I thought you were dead.
Yes, but why?
Oh, Date. Sorry for showing up like this.
She's lifting a fucking... That looks way too heavy for a girl of her stature.
Suki, what are you doing?
What's it look like? Bench pressing.
At least she's back to normal and actually talking.
You can talk.
Yes, she's no longer mute.
What? So casually. It's
I
like that.
received a Nile message from Mizuki last night. Teacher, can you please help me? I understood right away. The girl's been through so much. I couldn't say no to one of my students.
Oh, how convenient. It all ties
You're
together.
her teacher?
That's right. Mizuki is in my homeroom class.
Some guardian you are. You should already know that. Don't you take her to school and
I
stuff?
went to the hospital to pick her up.
It's kind of a weird thing to do.
She left earlier. She got a Nile message from someone.
Yeah, because she can't rely on her
Mizuki
guardian.
wrote a note saying that she wanted to go home. Not to Renju's house, but here. So that's the story.
But why didn't she ask you
I
then?
apologize for coming over without asking.
You being us. She can't move her arm for some reason. I forget why. It just locked up on her, she said. So they have always... This is a good in-universe explanation for why some characters always wear the same clothes. They really do have just that many sets of the exact same outfit. This is kind of a cool Easter egg thing to put. Like how in Phoenix Wright, he always wears his same blue suit, or Maya always wears her same spirit channeling clothes. Mizuki's clothes and mine. We each basically have one outfit. That's because we're rational people. I don't want to waste my precious time and brain power thinking about what clothes to wear every day. A lot of successful businessmen and scientists do it. Okay, honestly, Mizuki and I do have other outfits. We just keep them somewhere else. My clothes and Mizuki's. He's trying to justify it so hard to himself. Lighting. The entrance.
Date, I'm sorry. I looked inside your fridge earlier. Why do you have so much meat in there?
Oh, I'm on a diet. You see, I'm a recovering vegetarian. I'm kidding.
What is that fucking face that you're making? What is that?
I'm impressed you actually got a laugh.
He's making like a horrified face. It's packed with beer and fruit and a bunch of meat. I don't know if we've seen that expression yet, or at least not in that context. An oven hood. Seasoning and sake for cooking. Pot. Kitchen. There are seasonings and cookings lying around. It's such a weird game sometimes with the way that it goes about stuff. And it's not like I'm not familiar with Japanese shit. Like I've played so much of it. It's just, this is different. 3-seat sofa I also use as a bed. I've been sleeping here for 4 years. Mizuki took over my bed. I want her to be pissed at us for doing that to her though. There's a 3-seat sofa in the center of the room.
That's an unusual pattern on this cushion.
Oh, don't touch that. That's Date's rule.
Oh, is it really just drool? That's just what he tells you, little girl. Fuck. I don't even see it. Unusual pattern. Huh. It just looks perfectly normal to me. A bed. Mizuki sleeps... Oh, this is kind of a shitty apartment then. I thought there were other rooms and stuff. This is the best you can afford as some ace detective for a secret government agency?
Is it true? Mizuki told me you hid a magazine under the rug. Something about eating a nice spread? Why did you hide a cooking magazine?
There's some weird running joke too about like words that sound similar. Like he has some kind of dyslexia, verbal dyslexia. I don't know what it is, but a coffee table at the top is glass. So what would the joke have been there? It'd be something like porn, but about eating a nice spread. It'd be something that rhymes with that, I guess. Large speaker. You were complimenting her speaker so much in Hitomi's
That
house.
stuffed animal. It's Mizuki's favorite character. What's its name again?
Yeah, that's Ada Rabbit.
You gave it to Mizuki on her birthday.
You don't have to tell her that.
I'm sorry?
Why is he embarrassed about giving it to her on her birthday? It's like you don't remember. She's acting like we have amnesia in general, not just from 6 years ago plus. So how do we know Iris? Because we did see it in that little flashback. Both are hanging on the
I
rack.
see
Yeah.
you two hang your clothes side by side. You get along well.
Yeah, don't push it. Both are hanging on the rack. Maybe we just don't have enough room in this shitty apartment. The light of the autumn day, it just doesn't look like she would be able to lift those. The light of the autumn day is coming in through the window. Cork board on the wall. Is that what they're called? Like where you put all the... I never knew that. As an ace detective, I probably should know that.
Sound system.
Oh, it's nothing special. It's not top of the line.
Not like yours,
I
right?
only spent a couple million yen.
Oh, so it's cheap. That's good. I spilled soda on it on accident.
You did what?
It's a weird way to hear her talk for the first time. She's just completely not talking about the incident, and we shouldn't really push it and ask her about it. Audio equipment for an audio file. Haven't paid it off yet. Then why were you so impressed by hers? Just a way to break the ice, I guess. Couple million yen, so that's like a couple dollars, am I right? I don't know actually, but it is a much lower exchange rate. Small filing cabinet, although it won't be for much longer. Fucking the US dollar is gonna tank. I keep a bunch of documents in there. A desk, a
You're a
PC.
serious man, aren't you, Date? I heard from Mizuki. Whenever she's not around, you're always on your computer, watching training videos.
Training videos?
Yes, a female secret agent caught in the enemy's hideout or something.
Of course.
Ah, yes. Yeah, that. Right. Mizuki, did you watch that movie?
Only the title.
Don't touch my computer without asking.
Yeah, that's a good way to get out both of his pleasures in life. I like how naive Hitomi seems to be, because she wouldn't joke about that or just talk about that so casually if he knew that that's what it was, the innuendo behind it. A bench press. This guy is just a hardcore perv. One seat sofa. Could be a one arm sofa, am I right? Because she can't fucking put both of her arms out. How's Mizuki at school? We can x-ray her, but why? Of course, you can't x-ray in the fun way. Why is he even doing this?
That's...
A plate of medical grade titanium in her right
Oh,
shoulder.
he's curious about the arm thing. Yeah, otherwise I'm not sure why you're doing that. Metal plate in her right shoulder. That could come into play as evidence somehow, like a fucking metal detector shit like Von Karma. So she didn't tell us exactly what happened. Or just that it locked up one day, but just randomly.
She's a little quiet, but she's a very clever girl.
That's how you know it must be relevant to the case somehow, otherwise they wouldn't let you do
More
that.
than anything, she is kind.
kind?
When I'm carrying heavy bags, she'll come and help me without me asking. When I'm troubled, she'll sometimes pick flowers to give to me. Not that she has a perfect disciplinary record, but she's a good girl.
What's on her record?
There are a few incidents. Once, she let out all the frogs that were going to be used for science class. Another time, she punched the bully so hard that he chipped a tooth.
Of course, as her guardian, you don't know any of this stuff?
Sounds like more than just incidents.
But I like that about her.
He's just oblivious to everything for the benefit of the player, but it would make more sense if he just lost his memory like last week, right? And he's just trying to get back to work instead of, or like a few months ago, instead of 6 years ago. He should know all this on a day-to-day basis stuff.
She's a little clumsy, and just like Renju. Yes, elementary school.
I didn't know you taught at Mizuki School.
I didn't know Mizuki was living with you. I knew about her circumstances with Renju, but he described you as a relative. But I suppose not. Mizuki explained the situation to me.
Yeah, explain it to me too, because I don't get why you're her guardian at all. I didn't know Mizuki. I knew about her circumstances with Renju. Mizuki lives with me, but apparently she called home Renju's home, but I'm not her legal guardian. I thought you were her legal guardian, but you weren't her actual biological. I've never been to school with her or anything like that. That was left to Renju. He might not be any good at raising her, but he is her father. He takes care of the official stuff. That's one of the conditions for me taking in Mizuki. I don't know what kind of a weird-ass arrangement that is, but...
You said you and Renju knew each other from high school, right?
Yes, at Eitoku High.
And you work at the public school here.
That's right, a district elementary school.
Quite a good reason to be jealous of him. He ends up being like some big CEO of a company and you're just a fucking elementary school teacher.
Is that a coincidence? You becoming the teacher of your friend's kid?
Well, I hadn't always planned on being a teacher, but...
It's just like they live in the same area. That would be the only
It
reason.
wasn't a coincidence that Mizuki ended up in my class. Renju seemed really intent on sending Mizuki to a school where I was teaching. They even moved to get into my school district. That was about 5 years ago, in spring.
Something a little bit off with the lip syncing there.
Before divorce?
Yes, but I heard that Shoko didn't have a problem with the move.
Usually Mizuki lives at Renju's house. Her local elementary school is actually pretty far from here, my house. Mizuki takes the train every morning to get there. So did she live with you all the time or live with Renju? It's kind of unclear. It seems like with you. Pardon me for asking about your right arm.
Oh, does it bother you?
Can you not move it?
No, I can't even feel it, I'm afraid.
She's so nice that she's concerned whether it bothers us. Like, it doesn't bother her. But, like, she already explained this to us.
Was there an accident or?
I suppose you might call it that. About 6 years ago, I was shot in the shoulder.
Everything 6 years ago. This is going to be some DL6 case in the past that we have to solve. We lost our memory about 6 years ago. There was a copycat case of the one that just happened 6 years ago. And her accident was 6 years ago.
Nerves died and... Anyway, the story is, one day a criminal broke into my house. He was carrying a gun.
He's a ghost. That's going to be the twist ending.
And the way he talked, he sounded insane.
Drugs?
Maybe.
She just said it locked up, though, when we talked before. I guess she didn't want to go into so much
A
detail.
police statement said that he wasn't under the influence of anything. Just a random crime.
But he didn't kill you. He must have been involved with the case before. See, somehow he treats the Somnium like, oh, it's just like a premonition or it's just some random thing. Like even the one he sees in the carousel, he's looking in Mizuki's mind and he sees that Hitomi, or no, that Iris is dead. Now, Mizuki knows Iris, right? They're friends, apparently. Like Oda, Mizuki, and Iris are all friends. So it wouldn't be a stretch to think that that's her telling you that she's worried about Iris. But he instead dismissed it as, oh, it's like some kind of prophecy of the future, not just some judgment or concern that she has in her mind.
You know what? I actually don't know. I didn't do anything special. I just held her against me.
Held her?
I was hugging her close to me all night.
Something that you've never tried to do
When
before?
dawn came, I heard her say, "Teacher," and then she started to cry. As you can see, she's fine now. She had a lot bottled up. It came out with the tears, I think.
Yeah, not with your fucking sync thing that you forced on her. You two just aren't in sync, I guess you could say, the way that the teacher and her are. She should be the new sinker. So we're trying to avoid talking to her because we know she's pissed at us, but I guess I'll go for it. I hope I don't regret not talking to Renju, though. We might not get the chance again. He kind of just keeps going MIA. Nobody knew where he was at the time of the crime. Nobody could find him afterwards. Then they eventually questioned him. Then they couldn't find him again. It's like he's always on the run or something, or he's just a busy, rich guy.
How long do you plan on doing that?
Until my muscles are screaming at me to stop.
You there yet?
I mean, you probably shouldn't do this just out of coming out of the hospital.
Nope, not even close. My muscles are laughing like this is nothing.
Date, I would not push Mizuki while she is in this state.
She's pushing herself.
You may end up killed via head injury.
Yeah, you're right.
I guess we don't know what she's normally like, but she's kind of a little bit snarky and sarcastic. Started talking to her, and Mizuki re-racked the weight.
Mizuki, Renju sent you that now message, didn't he?
There's something weird where this game always cuts to black. In that case, I guess it didn't cut to black, but it showed another part of the room. Like they couldn't bother to animate her putting down the thing. Why did it have to show it? Why did he have to narrate that simple event happening? And like I always say that, like it cuts to black for the most basic thing. Like she went to get us a cup of tea. It cuts to black and she gets the cup of tea, or even something simpler than that.
What?
I got this buddy of mine. Real bad personality, but real good with technology.
When I started talking to her, Renju sent you that Nile message.
Got some help from them.
Bad personality.
There was a message sent at 8:05 last night. Does this sound familiar? Mizuki, Daddy got caught up in something serious. Please come to Bloom Park's merry-go-round right away.
What is it? Daddy got caught up in something serious. So that's from Shoko. But then Shoko was blaming her for like why she came there in the first place. There was a message sent at 8:05.
Daddy needs your help. Please do as I say.
Or it could be somebody pretending to be her.
Yeah, that was it.
But you want to traumatize her again by forcing her to
It was
talk
from
about
Daddy's
it?
phone. But I didn't want to say anything because that would make Daddy a suspect, so...
He should already be a suspect.
So you kept quiet.
That's always the dumbest thing to do. I don't want to incriminate this person that I think is innocent, so I'm going to make it look more suspicious by holding back information about them.
My dad's never said anything like that to me, ever. That he was counting on me?
Oh, it's the dad doing it. But I thought it was Shoko's. Wait a second. We never heard anything about Renju's phone, did we? It was from Daddy's phone. I thought it was, Oh, so this is something else than the phone that we have. It's not the same phone. That's Shoko's burner phone. This was what she got herself. My dad's never said anything like
I
that.
had to go.
But you invited Ota along.
Bloom Park is in the middle of the Kawasaki district. There are a number of homeless individuals in a high crime rate there. Mizuki must have been worried about going alone.
And it makes Renju look kind of like a dick and suspicious. Both of the father figures here are dicks.
When I got there, the ice pick was...
Yeah, why did you pick it up like a moron, thereby incriminating yourself?
It was stuck in my mom's eye.
So you took it out, maybe causing her death in the first place, because I wonder how that charge would go. Like, she was still alive because it was holding the blood in. You know how, like, if you take a weapon out of somebody's chest or something like a sword, they're gonna bleed out. So actually leaving it in can sometimes keep them alive for longer.
I couldn't think straight. The only thing I could think was... I had to get it out.
So you pulled it out.
Yeah.
After Ota ran away?
Yeah.
Like a pussy. He's like twice her age, isn't he? How old is he? He's 12 and he's 24. Or is she 13? No, she's 12. She doesn't look that young, actually.
Sounds?
Like a ringing phone?
Oh, I think I did hear something like that. But I don't remember where it was coming from. I just got scared and ran into the column. The door was open a little, so...
And you stayed in the column for that long? Like, wouldn't you
Confirmed.
try to leave the crime scene? Obviously, she was traumatized, but still.
The call at 9:02 p.m.
Or maybe that's the best defense sometimes, is criminals never linger at the crime
It
scene.
must have been the phone inside the horse ringing.
We don't know that it was inside the horse at that time, necessarily. Was Shoko's left eye on the ice pick? On the ice pick? About Renju, about your aphonia, which you don't have anymore, magically.
I don't think so.
Her eye socket was empty?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Somebody took her eye,
Sorry
which
to
we...
have to ask you stuff like that.
No, you're not.
It's okay.
So it was not Mizuki who took the eyeball.
You didn't even apologize for doing the sync thing either.
No, it was already gone when she got there.
That eyeball has yet to be found. It was probably taken by the culprit.
But why? And was it the same person that took your eye 6-7 years ago that also caused you to lose your memory? Because that's kind of the whole connection. And I kept saying, like, oh, it wouldn't be the same type of crime because your eye would have been one of the artificial ones, but it wouldn't have been at that time. That's the whole reason why you had to get it. We don't know what exactly happened to Date, but I don't think so. Her eye socket was empty, so some criminal likes to steal people's eyes. That's probably why the boss
What's
doesn't...
wrong with Daddy?
That's probably why our boss doesn't want to tell us about it, because we'll blame her for it, or it'll have all our memories come rushing back. It's weird that we're not more suspicious of that.
You haven't heard?
Heard what?
She does not know about the accident.
Let's traumatize her further.
Anyway, Mizuki has recovered from her aphonia. Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah.
Why is she saying it
I
like
did
that?
not know that Hitomi was Mizuki's homeroom teacher. Is there something wrong?
She's talking in such a casual, like, happy-go-lucky way, like she's just our best buddy, not like she's a fucking AI. I like that. Just look at how she says these lines.
Anyway, Mizuki has recovered from her aphonia. Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah.
I did not know that Hitomi was
No. It's nothing.
She's just disturbed at how human you're feeling there. So apparently we can go on the map. Let's just wrap up the conversation
Yeah,
first.
I'm fine, thanks to you.
No thanks to you.
Well, not exactly you.
Yeah.
It was teacher who stayed with me all night.
Broke into my apartment in doing so.
I couldn't. It's not like we have conversations about our day anyway.
Why didn't you tell me about Hitomi, or why didn't you ask me to come pick you up?
Because you don't talk.
Because you don't listen.
Oh shit. Yeah, you deserve that.
She's my teacher. She's special. She's Daddy's friend and Iris's mom. Sometimes I have dinner at her house. She's extra nice to me.
Oh, that's how you know Iris through her, I guess.
Oh, I know I shouldn't be. I should love all my students equally. But I see Mizuki after school sometimes, and she just looks so lonely.
Could be because you're a bad guardian, but also, to be fair, if I'm Date, it's like I'm doing the parents a favor by doing this. Why the fuck are you the guardian in the first place?
I can't help myself.
The de facto guardian. So she has like 4 de facto guardians. The teacher takes care of her, you take care of her, the father apparently takes care of her a little bit in the official ways, and then the most fragmented family situation ever. And then Choco would have taken care of her, but she seemed like she was being a dick to her in her Somnium, at least. Like saying, you know, oh, it's all your fault, this and that. Really like the passive-aggressive type. The passive-aggressive mother who can't face maybe the poor responsibility decision of having the kid in the first place. Marble. So we're definitely going to go to talk to Renju, and I bet he's going to have dipped out like he always does. Or let's just say it's an alternate ending. We can just get the final boss showdown. Fuck, he's gone. I'm assuming this is his room. So I imagine if I came here first, he would have been there. Or maybe he's always gone. There's a cupboard. But instead of rushing and pushing the point, let's just look around at all the flavor first. A curtain used as a divider. Seems like there's only one bed in this room, though. That's the wall right there. Patient monitor. Monitoring vital signals. It measures heart rate, blood pressure, and body temperature on the monitor. Pretty good music in most of these scenes, and it seems kind of always different.
Here.
Indeed. The bed is empty.
We didn't need a special fucking $1 million AI to tell us that. Yeah, wouldn't there always be a temptation? Like when you're Norman Jaden with the fucking glasses in Heavy Rain, or this guy, like, what if I just quit my job and sell this thing and fucking, you know, sell it on the black market because I know the criminal so well? There'd always be that temptation if it's really worth that much, like a prototype technology, but obviously you wouldn't think you could get away with it. A window, great. Fucking the clouds, they tell me nothing. At least give me flavor text like that.
Bedside table. Headlight fable.
You see, what is this running?
It's not even a thing.
You're doing the same thing that Iris does without even knowing it. Maybe because you don't know that you knew Iris before. See, he was doing that before he met Iris, I think. So maybe that's what it is. It's something that he picked up from her that he doesn't realize that he ever used to know her. Maybe. Or it's just some stupid running joke
Look!
that isn't really a joke.
Sabako is coming out of the TV!
Who?
The girl from The Ring or something? She made that joke before earlier. We can talk to the nurse. Not a whole lot of flavor. I can't leave this scene though, even if I wanted to. Just looking at me the whole time. I wonder if he's going to be pervy towards the nurse too, like every other fucking character in the game. A nurse is standing there.
He's not here, as you can see.
That's the kind of response you deserve. So then why are you here, just to tell us that?
Mr. Okiura's room. I'm certain of it.
He snuck out at night.
Or maybe she brought us here to show us the room.
Snuck out.
Mr. Okiura arrived with internal injuries. The surgery was successful, but he was in no condition to move. He would have opened up his wounds, and then he would be in real trouble.
Real trouble, huh?
Yes.
I guess I was wrong with my prediction that the mother was going to be dead, like we saw in the Somnium. We saw our memory of that happening, of us being on the case before when the guy broke into her apartment. She didn't even really tell us what he did, but at least he didn't kill her. He somehow just maybe assaulted her and damaged her arm. And then the other thing is, like, maybe that means that what Mizuki's seeing in her, what we saw in Mizuki's Somnium, wasn't that Iris would die, but that she was in that position at some point before. So she's remembering it somehow.
I can't believe it. Where could he have gone?
Renju is extremely suspicious.
Yeah,
He has no alibi for the time of Shoko's murder. That was noted in the investigation report.
But then he's clumsy enough to get in a car accident after the
It's
fact.
not so strange, though.
Or maybe it's vigilante justice. Somebody suspects him of doing it, so fucking tries to kill him.
There's more. I cannot reach Renju by any means. He has not attempted to visit Mizuki in the hospital, even though she is his daughter and witnessed a traumatic event. Despite all this, he runs from the hospital, even with substantial injuries.
Hey, this is my job. I'm supposed to be the one laying out all the reasons why he's suspicious, but we've already kind of covered
Perhaps
that.
this is an escape.
You sound like me.
Iba, call Lemniscate.
Roger that.
Pretty good pre-case review, though.
Hello, this is Lemniscate Entertainment Offices.
This is the first time we ever were talking to her. We even get to see the bust over the fucking phone. Are we actually video calling her?
Let me hear your message. Thank you.
The kind of employee training that they have there.
Do you have any idea where he might be?
Sorry, no clue. I'm trying to get in touch with him too. So far, nothing.
Wait, I thought we were leaving them a message. Why? Let me hear your message. Oh, maybe that's why. We're talking to her live, but she's asking for a message.
I'm worried. He must be a mess right now. Oh, wait. Maybe he's at the Maid Cafe.
Maid Cafe? Do you mean Sunfish Pocket?
Yeah, that's the one. Like, out of nowhere, Renju was like, I'm gonna rent out Sunfish Pocket. I guess he was gonna throw like a secret party or something? But with the accident and all, still, he might be there.
I know about Sunfish Pocket. Renju used to talk about it. He runs Lemniscate as well as that Maid Cafe. And of course, we already know that
Very helpful.
because we get to read his little log that he always talks about.
Sunfish Pocket, huh?
He has like the perfect ditzy blonde
It
voice.
is worth scoping out.
I wonder how that trope works as well in Japanese.
I'm a nurse. I work here.
Like the April, May or whatever.
I'm assigned to Mr. Okiura.
Not that she's blonde. What, just him? Like you have the luxury of having a nurse for every single patient? What kind of a fucking wealthy hospital is this? I guess he is a rich guy, but he gets special treatment. So I could ignore the Sunfish Pocket and talk to the mama now. Doesn't feel like it's a rush to find Renju, because anytime we go after him, he's fucking gone anyway. So why even bother? I'm starting to think he might not have done it now, because the game's kind of laying it out too much. Like, even Iba saying that. Like, he's very suspicious.
Well, well, if it isn't Dante! Long time no see. Is something wrong?
No, I just wanted to talk.
About Shoko Nadami, Ren's ex?
You're
Yeah.
as sharp as ever.
This game really has a lot of text that treats you like a moron. Like, you couldn't figure that out.
I saw it all on the news. How awful.
It's not like it's a game for kids either, clearly, with some of the innuendo and subject matter. It involves a lot of young characters, but it's not necessarily for a young audience. I guess Iris was a bit older than I thought she was going to be. She's actually 18. Ben and Clyde do right by me. Bonnie and Clyde reference? Maybe? Was that like him saying ah as he's like relaxing on the sofa? There was some weird sound effect there.
This is a painting of Saint Sebastian. Saint Sebastian was a faithful Christian who lived under Roman Emperor Diocletian. On January 20th, 288 AD, he was martyred. This painting depicts his execution.
Lots of...
Something wrong, Date? You're staring awful hard.
Nothing. Just caught my eye.
I do that at everything I see, actually.
Why now of all times? That's been hanging there for a while.
That's a good question about a lot of the flavor text, like in our boss's office.
Really?
Yeah, it was a gift from Ren a while back. I've always had it there.
Not always, just from a while back, like you just said. Gift from Renju. Specials are written on the chalkboard. Duck woman's upper lip. Oh, I thought it would tell me a different one each time I read it. That would be actually a good use of the repeated flavor text, but not this time, I guess. Oh, there's just something in the background. Somebody like saying ah when they're drinking their drink or something. Weird. Poster on the wall. It's a flyer. I really don't understand why they have flavor text like that. It's almost like a localization thing. They just got lazy, and maybe in the original game in Japanese, I guess you can look at that, can't you? You could change it to Japanese if you wanted. Where would it say language? Voice? Oh, you can't change the text though? Special Agent Kaname Date, please indicate your desired settings and submit this promptly to the appropriate office. Settings request form. Of course, it's instant. Nice little RP, but it doesn't really make sense, especially when everything's digital. I guess supposedly we don't have a phone though. So like it almost treats us like we're technologically backwards, but then we decide to... Wow, you could barely even see that in the lighting. Thankfully, it's me, of course. There's a table in front of the sofa. What a fucking genius detective. A stool. Surprised it doesn't make some stupid joke about that. There are bottles of alcohol on the shelf. A lot of recycled models. I love when games do that. Like, there'll be 30 of the same book on the same shelf in Edith Finch. Right, like you see this one repeated 1, 2, 3, although that's like slightly a different color. It looks like Jägermeister, kind of, the bottle. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's another one. Wouldn't you put them at least in the same section if you were having that many of them? But obviously they're just too lazy to design different bottles for every single thing. Wow, there's a lot of stuff that's hard to see
Hey,
here.
Date, wanna watch men in Fundoshi's pounding drums?
No thanks. I'm good.
They always say stuff's on the TV, but then it doesn't actually show you, right? It's just like a blank screen for your ad, or at least it's like a still picture. I think there was a picture on the Lemniscate office, though, of like some girls at the
What
beach.
do you think this counts? Bars?
I do not appreciate your pun.
She makes some pretty bad ones too, though, Aiba. Just like how you were counting the bars that Mizuki was doing. The menu, what is it? It has writing on the back. Shouldn't have writing on the front. Beer tap.
Date, what do you call a bottle of beer on your face?
A beard?
Why would you do that?
Kind of a tight hitbox on that one. A beer tap. I'd tap that. Haha. Like, the fucking humor in this game is so bad. Actually terrible. They're trying way too hard to be punny and stuff. There are bottles lined up on the counter.
Mama. My goodness.
It's almost as bad as the flavor text, just stating stuff outright.
You changed since I last saw you. You're such a square now.
Excuse me, that is a fridge.
Beer. Yeah, we can't have beer in this game. This game is for kids, even with all the sexual innuendo. There's music playing over the radio. Yeah, fucking... So much of this flavor text sucks. Or it's not even really flavorful. It just literally tells you what it says anyway. Picture. It's a picture. At least that's a little more descript. This bar is called Marble in an alley called Golden Yokocho. Yeah, Aiba already told us. She runs the place. We call her Mama. She might technically have the body of a man, but she's got a maiden's heart. She belongs to a lot of pro-LGBT groups and the like. How topical and relevant to the times. Spends her time running the bar, but she's also full of secrets and confidential information. Drunk people tend to not be too careful. You know how it is. So a place like this is perfect for gathering information. Whether it's politics, business, entertainment, even crime, she knows it all. Whenever I get stuck on an investigation, I come to see her, so she's like your advice helper, which I don't like to use in games like this, even when it's a permadeath precedent. I'm not sure much that she would tell us would help us with the Somnium stuff anyway. What does Kirby transform into when drinking a beer? I have no idea.
What are you doing, by the way?
Polishing bonito.
It is not well known, but dried bonito is a fermented food. They are boiled and dried, which attracts a particular mold as it ages. It takes between 3 to 4 mold attraction sessions and results in high-quality bonito. Mama is cleaning off the mold right now.
Okay. Looks just like just some basic utensil. It's as wide as her heart is big.
I have something, but I don't know how useful it will be.
No, tell me.
You know how Shoko was a representative of that investment company?
Yeah?
They were part of a massive fraud scheme.
Really?
That's right. And they were in bed with the Kumakuras, the Yakuza gang. So maybe...
The Kumakuras killed her?
I don't know for sure, but they were capable of it. Maybe Shoko did something to piss off the wrong people, and they punished her for it.
Or maybe she wouldn't do something that they wanted them to do. Because if they're in bed with them, then why would they kill them? Part of a massive fraud scheme, and they were in bed with them, so they would kill her. She was maybe getting in the way of something. Some dirty business that they were trying to do. Always different flavor text every time you look.
I've been okay. How are you, Date, honey? I don't see you around here much anymore.
I've been busy.
You used to come all the time.
Maybe he's just gotten better at doing investigations, so he doesn't need your advice.
You and Ren, grumbling over your glasses of bourbon. Laughing, drowning each other's sorrows. Sometimes getting into arguments. One time it even became a real fight. You remember that?
A lot of exposition for the player, as if we wouldn't remember any of this. Everyone treats him like he has short-term memory loss all the time.
Really?
Oh, yes.
You don't remember? Your drunk ass spilled your beer on Ren's watch. Ren was furious, yelling about how this watch is more important than my life, or whatever. He blew up on you. That was the only time I've ever seen Ren that mad. That's why I remember it so well.
Maybe that's his motive for killing his ex-wife. She fucked with his watch or something. About Renju's watch, where is Renju? Can you give me a glass of water while we talk?
That's unusual. Not a bourbon.
I'm working.
I drink at work all the time.
We have very different occupations.
It's kind of the same. I make people throw up. You make people throw up the truth.
You really shouldn't do that either. Working at a bar or like a liquor store, you shouldn't be drinking on the job either. What's the answer to the Kirby pun? Kirby drinking a beer. That'll be the greatest mystery of the day. Kirby transforms into... What would be a good pun that goes with that?
Yeah, his favorite watch. He got it from his new lover.
Like Aiba was just showing us our memory of talking to Renju in the bar. So not only do we not have memory loss, like in the short term, where we should know all these things that people are talking about, but even further, Aiba could even help us and show us the visual of the time when we got in the fight, unless he knocked our eye out of the socket or something, or Aiba was just exited our eye socket and was jerking around somewhere.
An anniversary gift. Oh, this was of course after the divorce.
New lover. Maybe it wasn't.
Ren was so happy. He showed it off to me. He's had that watch on him ever since.
We had drinks with him even after the divorce. So just because Shoko's our friend too, we don't really take sides or we don't really care.
It's been a while. I have no idea.
Yeah, how long ago did that fight occur that we would have forgotten about it? It couldn't have been 7 years ago.
What's wrong with Ren?
Oh, she's supposed to know all the gossip and everything, but she doesn't even know what's on the local news? Disappeared from the hospital.
Oh no, really?
Yeah.
I see. I'll contact you if I get anything.
Like, we're so starved for leads that we're willing to use the Somnium on a 12-year-old girl, and we're pursuing a guy just because he keeps going missing, not because we actually have anything on him.
Please do.
So if he just was there and talked to us, it would have been fine. He wouldn't have given us anything just like we don't have anything to begin
Shoko
with.
was involved in illegal activities. Perhaps the rental phone was used for that purpose.
The Kumakuras.
We don't know for sure that she was, though.
They have a relationship with Renju.
Maybe the reason why she was killed is because she wouldn't do illegal things. That's
Remember
my...
telling me that.
Because if she was, then they'd be happy with it. Like, that's what they want her to do.
Do you want to pay them a visit?
Yeah. I hope it won't cause problems.
Kind of a risky thing to do. They have an office? I guess as a front. Let's check out the sunfish thing first. We're just going all over the place today. At least we're not staying in the same area for too long. Except our boss's office. He's not going to be here either.
Welcome home, Sea King.
Sea King?
Oh! Is this your first time here?
Sorry. I'm not here as a customer. I need to talk to someone about something.
So you're seeking somebody. Oda?
Jeez, kid. Excuse me.
You don't go to your own
Sir! Wait a minute!
mom's diner?
Tate?
I didn't think he'd be really a recurring character. He just likes these cutesy girls. Trident.
What's in the box?
The severed bottom half of a mermaid.
You could have just said the tail.
A wooden box. Apparently a mermaid's tail is in there. Yeah, in case you forgot when she said it 1 second ago. I don't know why they have such a problem with the flavor text. Either it's just very basic and mundane, or they just repeat the same thing over and over. But then I can't help but still read it. That's my problem. Like, even if I know what's going to happen, I still have to do it. It's a light that looks like a jellyfish. It counts towards my 100% completionist run. Those do look pretty cool. The girls are working. It feels like all these locations we're not going to come back to, though, later throughout the game, but maybe we will. Like the bar with that chick, probably, Mama. Sunfish Pocket. I thought they said it wasn't open, though, like he was just doing renovations or something.
It
How,
looks
whoops.
like a flotation device, right?
How far back does the log even go? I guess just the same room that you come into?
But it's actually a huge donut.
Doesn't sound right, but there might be a huge donut up there. The girls are working. Looks like she's just standing there, actually. A doorway to the kitchen.
What kind of furniture can you drink?
A light beer?
Nope,
Rice?
you can't drink rice. The answer is liquefied leather sofa.
How would anyone ever guess that?
Can you even drink that?
You can see the kitchen back there.
What kind of cafe is this?
Japanese Gordon Ramsay. Now, you've been here before, haven't you? Because it's your friend's place. Or he seemed to, like, not really know that he really rented it out. Even though it says it in the journal, like, that he owns the Sunfish Pocket, too. Look at Renju. I'm not going to read all the new stuff, necessarily, right now. Entertainment company and maid cafe manager. So you already knew that. And maid cafe Sunfish Pocket. So this has been here from the beginning of the game. I don't know whether that was a pun or a riddle, really. There was a good one I saw on some stupid horror show. I don't know why I was even watching it, but it was like, what was it? Like, what? There's like a barrel. So what would make the barrel lighter that doesn't weigh anything and that you can see with the naked eye? Something like that, right? Like a barrel, it makes a barrel lighter. It can be seen with the naked eye, and you put it inside the barrel, put it in the barrel. And the answer was a hole, because you can see a hole with the naked eye. It would make it lighter. And what's the third condition? The fact that you have to put it inside, because technically you're putting a hole in a barrel. This is pretty good, actually. A real row can be heard from the kitchen. There are pictures of girls on display.
So, who's your type, Date?
Sorry, but no one stands out to me. I don't go for the spawn. I'm more of a big catch fisherman.
What?
I think he's saying he likes older women.
Apparently not his boss, though. But older compared to you, your type anyway. Because Date is older than you in the first place, right? Security camera. I was hoping he'd say something about, oh, that's like an invasion of privacy. Not unlike fucking Somnium. That customer looks like he's on death's door. Hope he's not blowing his life savings here. Looks seriously ill. I guess I can't really see that from here. Boy, he said that about everybody? What the fuck? Like the reverse Cotard syndrome, where you always think you're about to die. He thinks everybody else is about to die. What kind of a stupid recycled flavor text is this now? That doesn't even make sense. He'll just say that about everybody. Oda. Make sure we don't miss any flavor. That's half the fun of a game like this, although it hasn't been all that fun here. This place is up on the second floor. Nothing out the window. What the hell is that supposed to even be? Looks like a person standing there, or maybe it's supposed to be a reflection. The door I came in. Girls working. A chair. Amazing. 10 out of 10. The other chair will no doubt say the same thing. At least they don't make you read some of these over and over. Register near the doorway. They don't make you pay right when you're... Some places do that, some places don't, where they make you pay like right at the counter that you order at, and then some make you do it by the door. I think doing it by the door is better, so you don't worry about it as you're ordering it. You just... But then again, that'd be so easy to steal shit. Like, you order $100 worth of shit, and they don't charge you until the end, and then you just fucking leave. Green soda, huh? Sounds about right for Oda. There's like an honor system in restaurants and stuff. Bars. Option on, 2,000 yen. What is on? All we know is that it's on the menu. The omelet rice looks delicious. Yeah, why is he even here in the first place? It almost looks like he's holding that, but I think he's just sitting next to the table for visual effect, even though none of the other tables seem to have... Oh no, there is one there. I take it back. Oda is sitting opposite me. It would make more sense for her to actually know where Renju is. We can x-ray her. Why is he x-raying all the girls only? Why not do it to Oda too? Not that you'll be able to see what you want to see, really. Why the fuck is he doing this? Like, at least Hitomi was to see if she's really a mermaid.
Date, I must be the bearer of bad news. Even with X-ray, her clothes will not turn transparent.
I mean, they did, but so does her body. Is kind of the problem.
Your blood pressure is rising. The concentration of phenylethylamine in your blood is rising rapidly. What are you excited about?
What do you think? Maybe he actually prefers it that way.
No, haven't seen him.
He has a skeleton
Is
fetish.
this related to what happened at Bloom Park? The body on the merry-go-round was Renju's ex-wife. I didn't know that she was Mizuki's mom.
He just ran away like a pussy. I thought you were friends with Mizuki, though.
Did she change her name or something?
So she called Oda because she needed backup or something there? She was afraid
He saw her own mother's dead body.
to go by herself.
I just left her there and ran away like a coward. I'm such a piece of shit.
At least he acknowledges
I
that.
should have stayed. I should have done something.
He's like 24
Why
or
did I
something,
do
right?
that?
Which he doesn't really
Eating you up inside, Ota?
look at.
Yeah, seriously.
He said that all passive aggressive. Why is she doing that? What
You're
the?
sitting here adding up your options?
But you can order too, Date.
That's not why I'm mad, Ota.
Why? You're not allowed to eat when you're feeling guilty about something?
Sure am.
You kind of got off the hook for fucking doing the sing thing. I'm not going to get over that
I come
one.
here whenever I've got time and money.
But even Mizuki wasn't too mad at us about that. She was just kind of all passive aggressive, like, it seems like they are in their day-to-day life, like
I was
normal.
here yesterday too. Around 6:30, I think.
So you hate your mother's diner, so you come here
But
instead.
I couldn't get in. I saw a sign at the entrance that said the whole place got rented out for some party.
Oh yeah, that's what she was talking
But
about.
I came all the way to Akihabara, you know? I didn't want to just go home, so I bought a new one.
A new what?
A phone? I dropped my old one in a puddle, remember?
I thought you were just lying about that because you didn't want to admit something.
Because I'm worried about Tessa.
So Tessa is Iris, who's also known as something else. She has like a million different aliases. What's her other name? Like her Iris is her real name, supposedly. She'd probably tell us all the aliases. She's number 3 on the list, even higher than our adopted daughter or whatever you want to call her. Iris, also known as what? Asset and Tessa.
Iris, what's the matter?
That just means you're like a simp for her. You're not on a first name basis. We can call her Iris.
Yesterday night. Well, it was past midnight, so more like this morning?
You have to remember, we still have to go on that date with her. And of course, there is movement in the background, right? Which is good and appreciated, but it's also like still movement. Like this chick has been sitting there next to that guy for like an hour. They're not going to ever move from there, but they're still moving, quote unquote. So it's kind of fake realism.
I don't care about the timing. What happened?
Tessa was streaming, as usual, from her living room at home. But suddenly... Actually, let me just show you.
What, from the living room? And Hitomi doesn't mind that?
I always record her streams.
He's one of those degenerate VOD uploaders who does it the same day that they stream. Because the streamer's not allowed to do it, at least if in a Twitch affiliate agreement.
I'm kinda nervous. It's been a while. Got it. I'll try my best.
What, you don't stream every day like a real streamer would? I thought she even said she does. Or just,
Okay, everyone. Here's my debut song.
it's been a while since she sang, I guess. Let me guess, she's not actually gonna sing because they couldn't get the voice actress to do that? Or she's just a dancer?
Who could it be at this hour?
Japanese amaranth.
Dante again? Okay, 1 second, I'm coming. Sorry, everyone. Something came up, but I've got to go for now. I'll sing the rest next time. Bye.
You didn't even sing at all. What the fuck was that? That's the true definition of getting cucked on stream. Not only are you getting cucked in the proverbial sense that like you know that these guys are just attracted to the girls on stream, but you are just watching them on stream and donating money. You don't really have a shot with them, is the implication. But now you don't even get to see her dance? What the fuck is that?
1 hour into the stream, so about 2 a.m.?
Really? It seemed like she was just about to start.
That's weird, right? Someone coming to visit at 2 in the morning? And then she leaves?
It wasn't us, was it? When did we go to see her? Because we were worried about her? I guess it was.
She looked really serious, too.
I can't remember. I think it was, though, because we were all panicking and worried. I was worried about her mother being dead first before her, but...
I was worried about her, so I tried to call, but she didn't answer. She didn't read any of my Nile messages either. I thought maybe the people at Sunfish Pocket would know something.
Why? Why would this random restaurant know about her? What the fuck?
Tessa used to work here.
Oh.
She made a lot of friends.
I'm one of them. But I don't know what she's up to. I asked the other girls too. No one knows anything.
Iva, call Iris.
Yeah, they're only friends as long as they work there, on a superficial level.
The number you are attempting to dial is either offline or unavailable.
No way.
She's not gonna end up dead, is she, before her mom? At least it should happen in the order that you see. But I guess the image, again, we figured out. When we saw Hitomi in the apartment in our own dream, that's from the incident where her arm got injured, so she didn't actually die. And so the iris thing might be her actually dying under the carousel somehow in the fucking, like the carousel lifted up and she was under it. I don't know how literally we're supposed to take that. That's the one.
Anyway, prophecies are simply not possible.
It's not a prophecy, but it could be something Mizuki is thinking could happen or remembers happening. So maybe it's not her dying.
Something wrong, sir?
Well, unless she had a prophecy herself that I'll die soon.
No, nothing.
Don't you have work to do? We're not going to order anything no matter how long you stand here.
I wonder if Tessa's okay. I'm so worried about her, I can barely eat.
Your guilt doesn't stop you from eating, and this doesn't stop you. It's going to show that animation again, even though the food magically came back. The food was uneaten again. You really need to torture us with this animation again?
You look like you can eat just fine.
It keeps regenerating, too. That's some magic food.
It's not a spear. It belongs to Poseidon, god of the sea.
Trident.
You know, a trident.
Why do you have that?
Try not to put a dent in it.
We treat our customers like lords of the sea. We give them these tridents. It's like a little ranking system we do.
Oh, there's one there. There's one there, which we saw before. Not all of them have it, though, I don't think. I think there's one poking out behind here.
Color changes depending on your rank.
Really? They all look kind of the same goldish yellow.
There's bronze, silver, gold, platinum, and at the very top, orichalcum.
So it basically measures how much money you've spent on these girls.
Well, that doesn't sound very nice. It's more like a way to exploit their vanity. To separate our customers from their money as much as possible.
That sounds even worse.
Like a microtransaction.
Not that good.
How much would you pay for a virtual trident in a game that's gonna be offline in a few years, let's say?
How much did you spend to get that?
About 200,000 yen.
I suddenly understand why someone would want to kill another human.
Why? Because they don't give you any action after you spend that much? Or what?
No, he never showed up.
When was the last time he came here?
Let me think. He's just the owner, not the manager, so he comes sometimes, but not all that often.
What is the point in this? We can look at it again, apparently.
Hips, are you seeing this? I'm about to cry tears of joy.
Do you have a paraphilia for bones?
I knew it. Oh, it even puts the camera down where you were looking, of course. Rare achievement, ideal bone structure. If you keep looking at it, X-rayed the mermaid, but I've done that like 3 or 4 times.
You can see right through.
It's a diamond achievement too.
You seriously disgust me, Date.
I'm doing it for flavor, okay? I'm getting off on a different level. I guess we'll never know the answer to that. What does Kirby transform into when drinking beer? I'll have to look it up. It's such a gorgeous, well-balanced bone structure. Unless my chat just derped out. Which it sometimes does do. Okay, I guess there's nothing really to look at there, but I'll check it once more. Maybe there's a different part of her body to look at. This is the first time we've used the X-ray in a way that isn't actually useful. I almost said that with Hitomi, like what is he trying to do? Just see her naked or something, even though he knows that isn't how it works. But actually we were looking for the metal plate or something to do with her arm. But we used it once to see Mizuki inside the center column at the beginning. We used it once to see the phone inside the horse, but only after being tipped off by the Somnium that it might be there. And then we used it once on Hitomi, so this time is just a purely perverted use of it, I guess. Creeping on her bone structure, I guess you could say.
The maids and clerks are referred to as mermaids.
Mermaid, get it? Maid? They're still... fuck.
Date, Renju is not at this location. We have other areas we need to search.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, he just wants to get all the dialogue, just like me.
That's what we call the customers.
Oh, you could hear the location thing going, but we can't actually see it there on the right.
Us mermaids serve the Sea Kings. And we really are mermaids, you know. Don't tell anyone.
What?
Why do you have legs then?
Everyone working here is a real mermaid.
But you have legs.
They were a gift from Poseidon. We were given legs and feet, so that we can gather riches and foreign currency in the labor market.
Date, let's go.
She has a really deep way of saying things. Like, even when she said, we want to get money from people, she said it in like a very elaborate way. Where was that? It's more like a way to exploit their vanity, separate customers from their money.
No, not yet. There's still so much to learn.
Do not listen to her siren song.
Oh shit, good one. Good one.
By the way, I didn't introduce myself yet.
See, that's the level of writing that you want to see, where it's like some kind of a joke or pun or wordplay, but it's actually clever.
I'm Kaname Date of the Metropolitan Police Department.
Which this game has very little of for the amount. It's like you almost just need less flavor text and less dialogue, right? Like the ratio should be like 75% to 25% of how much is actually good.
You're a detective?
Something like that.
This one's like 50-50. He's eager to say he's a detective, but then he never tells anybody about Aiba or about Somnium. Even Mizuki, he told her like as he was doing it to her. There's this thing that I would rather show you than tell you, that I'm doing like the secret undercover, you know, government hacking into people's minds and stuff. And yeah, if they were real mermaids, then what about fucking, what, Iris? She must be one too. Still, it wouldn't just change just because she stops working there. Okay, so this would finally be where we think, wait, where was this again? Oh, this is the criminal syndicate.
Who's this asshole?
You made a big mistake coming here. Go home.
All right. Bye then.
Hey, Date.
What? Ugh, I hate dealing with these chumps.
Didn't you hear me?
Do you want to die, old man?
You bastard!
We haven't seen him in combat, really. We haven't seen any kind of fighting like that, really.
Sorry for the late introduction. I'm with the MPD.
A cop, huh?
You like those monochrome eyes. Never mind the Aiba thing, just in general. Very few characters and stories have those. I think of like Darts from Yu-Gi-Oh! Has it. It's supposedly because of the Orichalcos itself. Speaking of Orichalcum from the...
You want to explain what the fuck a cop is doing in my office?
He looks so happy on the right, but on the left he looks serious and disturbed. Look how he's just smiling there. It's like an inconsistent expression. I want to see that one that Date did again where he looked all weirded out, like after the fucking... some kind of joke with Hitomi, he made like this really weird expression.
I think we should exchange names before exchanging expletives.
Name's MoMA, the Warhorse. Don't give a fuck what your name is.
Really? You wouldn't want to track me down and try to kill me if I offend you somehow?
Alright, MoMA. I have a few things I want to ask you. 2 days ago at Bloom Park, a woman's corpse was found. Have you heard the name Shoko Nadami?
Sure have.
How?
Heard it on the news. The media is making a real fuss about this new serial killer.
Neo, now he's gonna make the connection to the previous case, maybe, that he was injured in, where they took his eye.
Can't help but hear about it.
New serial killer. That was kind of cool to see his combat skills. Locker near the window. Some kind of permit. Company philosophy. After 40, your toenails grow slower. Well, that's an interesting motto. Summary of the ideas and goals of the company. How many times does it make you read the same thing before that goes away?
What would be the point of that?
Wow, that is a big flying squirrel.
That is a tiger.
His voice seems quieter now for some reason. Coffee table.
What?
Marvelous marble.
Now she's doing it too. There's an ashtray. It is kind of like the rhyming game that Iris does sometimes. Last month's schedule is written on the board. 22nd, go to the zoo and see the pandas. Last month's schedule is written on the board. That could be some kind of code word for the Somnium that we saw the panda in there. I don't know. I'm trying to find meaning because those things seem kind of... A knife one of them was carrying. The kind that knives... Wouldn't it be that knives Or no, I guess not. The knife's nicely at night. It just might. Holy fuck. The skinny one, he's completely out. We can try to talk to him anyway, I guess.
There would be no point in talking to him in that state.
Really? Why don't we take him back to the lab and do Somnium on him? You know how we deal with unconscious or traumatized people who can't speak, right? Even if they're our own daughter figure. There's a partition set up in the doorway. Lockers are lined up on the wall. Wasn't this like by the window? At least there's slight variation in the flavor text. The worst one so far was when we looked at everybody in the diner and we said they all looked ill. Like, that's recycling it in a way that doesn't even make sense. What, they all look ill? A chair. A desk. You could say it's my... Yeah, no shit. There are a ton of things on top, which we can't look at any of them, I guess. A phone. There's a telephone on the desk. Yeah, call 911. These guys are all criminals. Oh my god. The door to the next room. This thing looks pretty cool. A bronze dragon.
Wish, will it come true?
That is not Shenron.
Good. Good one.
For panties.
I told you that's not Shenron.
Dragon holding a golden ball. Oh, they actually do that in the show too. They wish for, I forget whose panties, maybe Bulma's panties. So that's one of those things that comes back to bite them in GT, like the karma. Every wish made on the Dragon Balls was necessary, Kappa. There are lanterns with Kumakura written on them. Yeah, like Goku sacrifices not coming back to life once. He said, oh, I'm okay with staying in the King Kai's world or whatever. But then fucking Roshi wants to do shit like that. A shelf. Wait, why did it go in there? Oh, I'm clicking on menu. I didn't even know you could do that. You could click on it directly if you want to. I like the UI of this game and the music, but the writing, I have to say, is not the greatest. Hopefully the case solving will get better, but I feel like the Somnium mechanic's kind of stupid. It hasn't really tied in, like I said, to the details of the case very much, so it doesn't make you feel rewarded for paying attention even. You can just kind of literally wing it. Sometimes by bringing the fucking carousel up into the air, literally wing it. The fat one, he's holding his stomach in pain. In the same position. You just did though, haha. Okay, we can't even attempt to talk to him again. This guy we can... Oh, it kind of led us before, even after we saw that he was passed out. Lantern Shrine. This is like a red-white moment where you're meeting like a big boss in his very own office. Like, you're completely at his mercy. A Shinto shrine.
The Kumakura crest.
You know, that series does a good job of seeming like it's not really Japanese. Aside from all the spirit channeling stuff, which could be some kind of arcane stuff that you deal with anywhere, right? It could just be like there's this little section of society in any country that is, you know, into that, if you really look for it. But aside from that, it seems pretty much like it could be taking place anywhere. Whereas this one you can feel is Japanese all the way through, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but just for the purpose of localization. The chairman's desk.
Ima, can you hack it?
I cannot. The power is off.
Really? That's all it takes? That's your weakness? It's turned off. So now that's an established rule, I guess. I guess that's why she couldn't hack the other guy's phone. So we should have just stayed on the line with him and not said that we're a cop right away like a moron. Although legally, technically, it's the right thing to do. So this guy has like a weird sense of morality with being a detective. Like, he's willing to use Somnium without express consent, but he's not willing to lie to somebody about being a cop. A keyboard. The chairman's chair. I think that's all the flavor text we can get. Do you know anything about the investment fraud? Did the Kumakuras kill her? Where's the chairman about Shoko? So, you know how like in LA Noire, I always like to ask the questions in a certain order to see if that, you know, like in RP, like I'm going to ask in the most relevant order or the order that'll warm them up to me a little bit. Even if it doesn't actually matter, right? Just for the RP of it, you should probably try to do that. The man sitting in the chairman's seat is named Moma. A lot of names close to that, like Mama at the bar or Ma in the Rip statue for in the boss's office. You know anything about the investment fraud? So I would stay off that subject as a detective because it's like we know they're in it, but we don't really care about that. Did you kill her? It's kind of a stupid question. Where's the chairman? I assume that's you, though.
Don't know nothing about her.
You just said you did, from the news at least.
I know her face and her name. It was on the news. Nothing else. I have no idea what you're talking about, cop. You must have gotten some bad info.
Now he looks equally crazy on both of those, or happy, smiling. But when we first started talking, he looked kind of bothered on the bottom left, but then he looked kind of happy on the... When you actually look at his face.
Why would we do that?
Because of the investment fraud that we just talked about that you won't admit to.
What? The chairman is right in front of you.
I thought you had nothing to say to me.
What?
I run the Kumakura gang. I'm Moma Kumakura.
Yeah, weren't you paying attention to the flavor text that we just read on the desk? That's the chairman's desk?
That can't be right. The chairman of the Kumakuras is Rohan. You aren't the chairman.
Yo, asshole. You need a lesson in manners?
What was that little pulsing there?
Date, wait.
That's like our Magatama going off. We know he's lying, except we don't have that. Rohan Kumakura.
I did some research and discovered that Rohan Kumakura died last year. He left to his death from the roof of a building.
Oh, I'm sure.
Suicide.
But Moma did not take over last year. Moma took over 6 years ago.
6 years ago.
Date, look at this.
It's like he's acting like he doesn't have memory from even within the last 6 years.
A thermograph from when you inquired about Shoko.
Body temperature rising.
Oh, it's like a lie detector test.
It appears that way.
How do I get him to cop to it?
Remove his fingernails one by one.
So that means Date hasn't come here or inquired into them or even paid attention to them in the last 6 years.
Not my style.
Blackmail him?
Blackmail?
Find his weakness and threaten him with it. Let's examine the room. Perhaps we may discover one of his secrets.
And he's just gonna sit there and let us do it? I guess we did beat up his guards pretty well. So he's like a fake chairman, a fake alpha. I did kind of already look around the room, so it must be something that wasn't interactable before, because I'm sure we looked at that, didn't we? There's no way that, or maybe we weren't allowed to look at it yet. Decorating the wall, their crest. They have something hidden behind there, maybe? Of course, you're not allowed to look at it until... Isn't that Iris? ASAT.
Hidden safe behind the crest.
Of course, everything ties together.
I recognize that. It's just like the one I saw at Matsushita Diner. An ASAT figure.
Correct.
But why is that there?
Unknown. But perhaps...
Blackmail him with that? This would be the second time Iris blackmails somebody, this time without even being present. Indirect.
You wouldn't happen to be a fan of ASAT, would you?
This is really gonna get him to spill the beans?
What? Who's that?
The more logical way to blackmail him would just be to say that we don't care about the investment fraud, we only care about the victim, but that would assume that he still did it.
A schoolgirl internet idol. You know what I'm talking about.
Or like he'll know something but not the whole story, so it's not that he did it, but...
Think you can get away with talking to our boss like that? He's tough as bricks and hard as nails. Never being a pussy shit like that, you fucker.
Oh, it'll let you lose respect with your Yakuza, though, if they find out. So he hides it in his own fucking office to jerk off to when nobody's around, I guess.
Water.
Wait, sweat. He said you back.
What the fuck? He's so open about it, though. Freudian slip, surely.
Fear.
Upset, regret. He said.
Shadows.
Threat, silhouette. He said.
Just as I thought.
Boss? What's this?
Shut up! Don't look at me! Get out of here! Did you hear me? I said get the fuck out of here!
Yeah, you got the real poker face like a mob boss should. Well, the whole blackmail would have been to, we're gonna tell your Yakuza if you don't cooperate with us, but instead he just opens up about it himself. 3 times, in fact. That one grabbed the skinny one and dragged him out. Another black screen moment that isn't a secret because he just announced it loudly to everybody.
If you don't want that to get out, you better answer my questions.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, that's really a great reason to. You have an alibi? I had no idea you were a Net Idol fan. About Shoko, you apparently didn't even really know who this guy is. Because you thought it was Rohan. What about Rohan? We don't really care. About Shoko, although that is what he was lying about, that he took over. Do you have an alibi for Shoko's murder? I mean, not personally, but I mean, does his whole gang?
Right. We do have connections with the investment company Shoko worked at.
The company that commits fraud.
No comment. Anyway, we never had any problems with Shoko. There'd be no reason for us to kill her.
Maybe it could be true. I mean, I still want to see Renju. Like, he's just been escaping us the whole time. It'd only be fitting that he...
No point hiding it, right? Yeah, I know about Shoko's ex.
Do you know where he is?
Nope, sure don't.
Why would they even?
It's not like we keep in touch or anything.
I detect no abnormalities in his thermograph.
Oh yeah, but that expression he made looked a little bit like he was lying.
He's not lying.
He was looking up at the roof and holding his chin, like he's trying to think of a lie. It goes against basic... See, that's kind of the thing that somebody who's experienced with psychology could easily do to counteract something that they think is a lie. They know that, oh, people, when they lie, they look to the left. So they'll deliberately look to the right to make it seem... Or not look to the left. Right? Once you become aware of something like that, it no longer has any power, because it's like... You can just consciously be like, oh, I'm not going to do that thing that would make me look suspicious. Therefore, even if I am suspicious, I won't play into that. So that's why those things don't work at a higher level with anybody who's actually somewhat intelligent. Or like, oh, I'm going to twitch nervously. I don't know. The assumption is that they can't control it, but a little bit of self-awareness would prevent that. I had no idea you were a Net Idol fan. What about Rohan?
Hey, Moma. I've got a favor to ask. Can you get me information on Renju? His whereabouts, rumors on where he might be, anything. I need some leads.
And what if I refuse?
Why would you need to ask a gang like this either? Like the police can't find him?
Then your gang finds out you're the world's biggest A-Set fan. In exchange for helping me, there's a reward in it for you.
Your own Yakuza could blackmail you by that logic, the fat one, apparently.
A reward. I'll let you meet A-Set.
What?
Oh my god.
Met her yesterday at Lemniscate. We're acquaintances now.
Really?
Yeah.
You promise?
Yeah, I promise.
He's not even that big though, apparently. I guess she's big online, but not in like the actual television world and stuff. As if that would even be a bad thing in this day and age. You'd rather be famous online. Nobody fucking watches TV, or I guess she wants to do like a record label or something though, but what about Rohan? I guess you can be this direct, but...
are a branch of the Ujisaki family. The Ujisaki family runs a yearly golf tournament. Mandatory attendance. We were all at the tournament those days. We only got back this morning. You've been asked a hotel. They'll tell you.
Dante, I did some research.
As if they have to be perfectly honest about it when talking about criminals.
The hotel's record of guests does list the Kumakura members. They were also seen on several surveillance cameras.
As you could... Oh, that's good at least.
It is not possible that any of the Kumakuras could have killed Shoko.
Now, is it going to be one of those Ace Attorney things where they assert a fact like that, like it's indisputable, but then you come back later and, oh, actually, they did slip away, or actually something else. Yeah, I wasn't really thinking that they actually did it, but they seem to be hiding something about it.
Rohan was my older brother. He was my big brother in this organization, and my blood brother. But he's gone now.
A suicide.
He didn't take over right away, which kind of puts a monkey wrench in the fact that he would have killed him. Somebody else must have taken over.
Yeah, after breaking out of the hospital.
Or what was it again? Like, he died 6 years ago, but he just died, but he just took over 6 years ago, or what? I forget.
About 20 years back, both he and I were the new guys in the Ujisaki family.
The Ujisakis are above the Kumakuras in the hierarchy.
At the time, we were in a turf war with a rival gang. One day, one of their boys walks in here and beats my bro's face in with a metal bat. His vision's been fucked on the right side ever since.
Something to do with eyes, always.
The doctors say he can still see, but it doesn't register. Like, he only eats food off the left side of his plate. And if he's drawing a picture or whatever, he only draws the left side.
This was 20 years ago, so he was still in charge even after that.
Date, a question for Moma. Is Rohan left-handed?
Why?
Just ask him, please.
Well, let's ask this more important pressing question first.
You're hiding an ACET figure in the safe.
How did you know that?
I have superpowers.
Or he likes to brag that he's psychic.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, he was.
He didn't try to deny it, though.
Confirmed. Rohan must suffer from hemispatial neglect on his right side. As you are aware, the brain is divided into what is called the right brain and left brain. One side develops into the superior hemisphere, responsible for language and higher functions. The other side controls spatial recognition ability.
Wait, if the text can scroll down past the point where it cuts off, like to a third line, then why would it even need to open a new page anyway? Like, it could just always be the same thing of text and just keep going down. He was.
In most people, the superior hemisphere is the left brain.
See, now we can create a third line, but it won't. It'll just go
In
to
roughly 1/3 of the population, the right brain is the superior hemisphere. This is often linked to left-handedness.
Weird, it only does that sometimes. 1/3 of the population.
Just confirmed that Rohan was left-handed. From this, we can conclude that his right brain was his superior hemisphere, and his left brain was the inferior hemisphere.
Okay, and this has to do with the case why?
Rohan suffered a beating on the left side of his head. That must have damaged his left brain. That caused him to lose his spatial cognitive ability.
Anyway, after getting the shit beaten out of him, he changed, man. He became cold-blooded. I'm talking ruthless. One time, we captured some street bosses from a rival gang. Bro grabbed him by the big toe and took a potato peeler to him. From the toe to the thigh. Totally blank expression. Like he was scraping bonito flakes. Anyway, sick fuckers like that always end up running the world, don't they? He started climbing the ranks, and eventually he was taken in by the Ujisaki family boss. The Ujisakis decided to make him head of our gang, and that's how we became the Kumakuras.
So they have so much power over you that you don't even get to choose who's in charge of your own gang? Like, it's one thing you vote or you choose, somebody works their way up your ranks, and then you ask permission, can this guy be our leader? But instead they just decide for you. That's kind of a flex.
About 6 years ago, I remember him telling me about something big. Some threat to the Kumakuras that could bring us all down.
I like how you can look around, but it almost makes you think that something will be happening now, like an Easter egg or some horror scene. Like you're just talking to him and looking around, and then you see somebody fucking yell at you or come at you with a knife or something.
He didn't give me the details, but I figured it was something from his past coming back to bite him in the ass, you know? Anyway, his plan was to handle his shit internally. Didn't want too many people knowing about it. But whatever he planned didn't work. When the chips were down, he decided to handle it himself. He ended up shooting some guy in his house. A few days later, cops busted him. Prosecution tried to get him on premeditated murder, but it was determined that he was insane at the time. Maybe they were right, you know? His head's been getting worse and worse for the past 20 years. He gets relapses and all that.
When did he kill himself, though?
Anyway, they decided to keep him in a special hospital. And naturally, because I'm his brother and next in line, I was the successor.
Wait, was that 6 years ago, or I kind of lost the timetable? Let's say that happened 6 years ago. This guy's been in charge for 6 years, but then he killed himself when?
The Kumakuras appear to be unrelated to the investigation.
It was still worth it just to find out Momo is an ASAP fan.
Really?
Really?
That information might come in handy later.
I am so like Iva. We say a lot of the same things half the time.
Go somewhere else, Iva. We got what we needed here.
Ah, shit, I kind of missed the timetable on that, though. He took over longer ago than what we thought. Because apparently, Date doesn't keep tabs on him, I guess. And this is a long fucking case. Not just because I always derp around and look at all the flavor. Like, this is actually fucking... Could be the whole game is just this one case. I was in the passenger seat, but only in our mind. It makes it seem like she's really there, but you can see that she's not there. I guess this could be a good place to end off. Man, this case will take a fucking eternity, but I even bought the game because of how long I waited. That's my karma for prioritizing Hearthstone over my main series. Okay, so day 3, we played for 8 hours. 10:22. So that's like 11 days later. But when we played it last, driving. I do like these driving scenes. They do very much feel like a courtroom lobby, like where you just get to review and think about the case as you're going. The next time we probably will take down Renju. I thought I would do it today, but fuck it, dude. More pervy moments, like where he's trying to use the X-ray. I totally thought that when he used it on Hitomi, like, why the fuck are you using this on a random civilian for no reason, who you don't even suspect of anything? But just because he's curious about the metal plate, he could play it off. Or it's almost like he should have been surprised, like, oh my goodness, there's a metal plate. Because that totally wasn't what I was looking for, or why I was doing this. We can look at some of the stuff in the file next time too. A little pre-investigation review.